Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world. As you can see, I'm wearing amethyst tonight because we are going to be foiling with the Fuse foiling system, which we sent out an email notification to everybody who was on the wait list a good hour ago, giving everybody who signed up a little head start, but it is back in stock and we are excited about it. So tonight I thought I would do some foiling tips and tricks, and I would share a card with you. And I told you guys initially that this amethyst fuse was supposed to be a special edition that was going to come out in February. But they mixed up the colors and they gave it to us back in October. Well, now it's February. It's still my birthday month. My birthstone is amethyst, so I'm going to make myself a birthday card tonight, even though my birthday's already passed. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to show you kind of a fun card layout that I think you guys are going to like. So with that in mind, before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hey, everybody. Boy, and what a birthday that was, huh?
It was a great birthday.
You got so much love.
And we did. We had so much fun with you guys going live. And then Tom and I went and we saw Nate Bargatze. That's how you say it, because that's how they said it at the show. And we had a great time. So it was so much fun to be with all of you guys. And Tom, we're here we are again, Tuesday night.
Yeah, great laughs after driving through a tornado and, right? Waiting in traffic for quite a long time. We had a great weekend, though, too. Roaming through craft stores and bookstores and...
all the stuff I like to do.
Fun stuff, yeah. So you better get at it.
Yes, we better get at it. Okay, so for those of you that are new to foiling, you're going to learn a few things tonight. For those of you who've been doing this kind of foiling for a while, you may not learn anything new, but you may be reminded of a few things that you forgot about, or there might be a tip or trick in here that might help you get better results from your foiling. Now, this is the fuse right here. It's the amethyst version. This is the last time we're going to have the amethyst version. Our next version, we are intending to be more in Gina K signature colors. So that will be coming out as soon as this batch sells out. We will be placing that order. Now, we are dealing with Chinese New Year, so they are off for about a month. But as soon as they get back, they will start manufacturing more of these. I know we're going to sell out. I mean, we tried to do the best that we could. And I'll tell you the way we order. So I always ask people to get on the notify me list, right? And then I use that notify me list and I add more than that. And I also talk to my big wholesale accounts to find out how many they want, and I add their order in. And then we will place the order. Well, what happened with the fuse is probably double the amount of people got on the notify me list. So I assume that we're probably going to sell out again, but we will keep making these and keep bringing them back in stock. So don't worry if you miss out. We will be making more. And I saw some people in our group saying, I don't want the purple one. I'm waiting for, something white and teal and whatever the next color is. So we will see, when that comes about. But it's a great machine. If this machine was lime green and hot pink, it would still be a great machine. So I want to show you how to get it turned on, okay? Because this has actually been a very common customer service issue. People will plug the fuse in and then start pushing the button and they say, my fuse is broken. Or they will plug it in and they will turn it on and the lights don't go on and they will say, my fuse is broken. And our customer service talks people through it. So there are 3 steps to getting your machine to turn on. You plug the machine in, then you turn it to the on position, and then you bump it up for toner level 3, Poly-Glaze level 4. That's what we have found after lots of repeating and different types of Poly-Glaze sheets, that number 4 is the best setting to get the best results. With toner, number 3 works really great. I haven't had any trouble with number 4 for toner either. So if you're having, remember, if you're having trouble, that's a great first place to try. Make it a little hotter, see if that helps. Make it a little cooler, see if that helps. That's always a good rule of thumb. Now, I like to use Swiffer dusters. So these are dusting cloths. They are anti-static dusting cloths. So these work great because dust is your enemy when it comes to foiling. You always want to make sure that you have a dust-free surface, that your cardstock or your Poly-Glaze or your toner sheets are dust-free, and that your foil is dust-free. Otherwise, anywhere that there is dust between the foil and your project, you're not going to get coverage. So that can always be a problem. And what we don't realize is in our craft rooms, we are very dusty because we use things like glitter and embossing powder and, you know, I mean, I sharpen my colored pencils. We do make some dust. So you do want to make sure that your project is dust-free. Now, if you're new to Poly-Glaze, first let me tell you about toner. So you will see lots of companies have toner designs. This is one of our toner sheet designs. This is our Be My Valentine design. And it is a beautiful set of, you get, I think, 3 sheets in here, 8.5 by 11. All of these greetings can be cut out with circles or squares or rectangle dies. They do coordinate with our double and single stitched rectangles, circles, and squares. And but you can also cut them with a paper cutter, and that will work fine. These are printed with they're printed with an industrial grade resin that is toner, but it's industrial grade. So you get, like, it's really thick on here and you get really good results. Now, other companies sell toner sheets too. These are printed with a toner or a resin. I know ThermoWeb uses industrial grade resins for theirs. And anywhere that there's black, the foil will grab when it goes through the laminator or through the fuse or the mink, and it will foil just on those black areas. What actually happens is the resin or the toner melts when it goes through the machine, and the foil sticks to that resin. Then when it comes out the other side, it cools, and anywhere that the foil touched the resin, it will fuse to the resin. And then when you pull the foil off, anywhere that there was toner or resin, you will have foil instead. So it's a very neat technology, but there is a little bit of a learning curve, and they're not always perfect every time. Neither are Poly-Glaze perfect every time. But they're different in that, let me show you a Poly-Glaze pack here. Let me find one. Here's one. So this is not how they come though. Let me see if I can find one in the package. I don't think I have one because I always take mine out and I put them in these medium stamp pockets. So this is our Poly-Glaze. Now, Poly-Glaze sheets are printed with a gray ink and then coated with a Poly-Glaze, a clear Poly-Glaze. Can you see the shine on that? That's the clear Poly-Glaze. It works exactly the same way. It melts, the foil sticks to it, it comes out the other side. When it cools, the foil fuses to the Poly-Glaze. You pull the foil off, and wherever there was Poly-Glaze, you will have foil. Now, the difference is these are much lighter in color, and they've got that thick Poly-Glaze material on top. So if any spots don't foil, it doesn't look as drastic because you don't see a big black spot like you would on a toner sheet. You would just kind of see nothing. It just kind of fades into the white of the cardstock, which is pretty cool. Now, the other thing that's really cool about Poly-Glaze that you can't do with toner sheets is these resist ink. So if you don't even want to foil but you like these designs, or if you like to foil but you just don't feel like it that day and you want one of these designs, these will almost act like emboss resist because the clear Poly-Glaze will resist the ink. And so you can ink blend on here and the design left behind will appear white. Okay, so that's another thing that you can do with Poly-Glaze. Now there are something called toner sheets. toner sheets, I don't have packaged toner sheets, but I'll show you what they look like. These are my toner sheets from ThermoWeb. ThermoWeb produces these. These are cardstock, lightweight cardstock, coated with a thick layer of industrial strength resin or toner. Okay? And you can put foil on this and it will become a solid, shiny foil paper. Okay? Because foil's too thin to be used as paper by itself. It's super thin and delicate. It doesn't die cut well unless it's attached to toner paper. You can also use the negative pieces of your designs. I don't know if I have any laying around here. I might not, or I might. Let me take a look. Nope, I don't. I think I left them in the warehouse, but that's okay. I'll make new ones. And you can take what you peel off from your Poly-Glaze sheets or your toner sheets, and there'll be a negative design left behind. You don't have to waste that foil. You can put that piece of foil onto this black toner, and then everywhere that there isn't design showing, it will foil. And then where the design is shown inside, which I'm going to show you this, you will get a black version of that design. Okay? Now we have white Poly-Glaze sheets. So these are an 80-pound cardstock, so it's a lightweight cardstock, and they're coated with Poly-Glaze, just clear Poly-Glaze. That's all that's on there. And they will do the same exact thing. You can foil them, and then you can die cut foiled designs, and you can also use those negative pieces that you peel off of your designer Poly-Glaze and your designer toner sheets and have the negative design. So hopefully that explains what this system does, how it works, but in my opinion, it's always easier to see it than to hear about it. So I'm going to demonstrate for you. And then I'm going to make a card. So I'm very excited to see all of you. Now, one thing I want to tell all my international friends, our international versions have arrived. They are not ready to ship yet. They will be shipping around the first week of March. So for our international friends, if you're on the website saying, oh, I heard the Fuse came back in stock, where's the UK version, where's the EU version, where's the Australian version? They are in our warehouse, but they need to be labeled a certain way. They're not yet ready to ship. We are going to be shipping these to all of our wholesalers who choose to buy them in Australia, in the UK, and in other parts of Europe. And actually, I'm going to be on Create and Craft on March 4th featuring this system, and they're going to have them too. So if you're in those areas, we highly encourage you to buy them from our retail partners. You're going to avoid the VAT tax. You're going to avoid, the additional shipping. You're just going to have to pay what they charge for shipping. And it's going to be great for you guys. But we also will still have them in our warehouse, whatever's left, whatever they don't take. So we will have a category on our website where you'll be able to buy them as well on our website. Okay, so now let's start with a Poly-Glaze sheet. I wanted to show you this one. I've saved this one because this is one that I made for my birthday the first time we released it, and I want to show you how pretty this is. So this is one of the free designs that comes in the machine. And all the machines, no matter where you buy them, and no matter what version you get, the US, UK, EU, or AU, they all have a gift pack in them. And in this gift pack, you have 3 different patterns of Poly-Glaze. You have this one, which is gems and crystals and gems. And I foiled this with the amethyst, amazing amethyst foil that also comes with the machine. And then I used Prismacolor pencils and Gamsol on top. And you can see, even with that foil, I could color it with colored pencils. I could use Gamsol. It didn't ruin the foil. It didn't do anything. So I do want to show you that you can color over this as well. You can also use Copic markers over this. But one thing I will tell you is that if you use Copic markers and you're using a color like silver, if you color with darker Copic markers and you get it on the foil, it will color the foil because that's an alcohol marker. If you use a water-based marker, it will not. But alcohol markers will color the foil. And I've actually done foiling videos where I colored it with alcohol markers, so you can always look on my channel for those. Okay. The mini mink is great. If you have a mini mink, you can do all of these techniques and you've got a fantastic laminator. Our machine is made by the same people, and it's just a little bit different in the way that it looks. So the actual guts of this machine are comparable. You don't have to worry. If you have a mini mink, you've got a fantastic machine. It's a great machine. So you can be totally happy with that machine. I love the mini mink. I had it for many years and I still have it and I love it. Yes, we are going to be carrying the amethyst foil in the future, Gail. Okay, so this is a piece of amethyst. Now I just want to show you a couple other ones that I foiled so you can see how pretty they are. This is our winter snowflake. Gosh, you know, I wish I'd kept all the packaging because I don't have all of the names here. But this is our winter snowflake, and if you go onto our website, you'll be able to see the names and you'll be able to find the ones with the snowflake. Gosh, kind of a ding-dong for not... I didn't package all of them. some of them are in, you know, ones that don't have a thing on them. But this is done with our sterling foil. This is the Gina K Design sterling fancy foil. Isn't that beautiful? I love this one. I think it's a great background for Christmas cards and winter cards. Now here is one of the butterfly designs. And this one I did with gold. These are all Poly-Glaze designs. I did this with our 14 karat. So I wanted you to see that. All right. Then here's one of the designs that also comes in the fuse. This is the celebration, and it looks like fireworks, which is really fun, really pretty, great for birthdays, great for 4th of July, great for weddings, whatever you're celebrating. This is a great celebration one, and I foiled this one with our turquoise sea. So Tom, go ahead. If there's any questions, you can stop me. All right.
There's a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions?
Flying. Yes.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay. Will there be a white teal version of the fuse to match the intercut?
That is our plan. We are working with the manufacturer for the white one. When they sent this one, they thought we wanted to do this one first, so they never sent a sample of the plastic for white. So we are working with them on a plastic for white, and as soon as we have that nailed down, that's the plan. But you never know. It may turn around and be teal with white. I don't know, but our goal is to match the intercut as much as possible. Okay.
Okay. The difference in foils used for this machine and foils for foiling plates.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell the difference when they're just laying out, and they're not the same foil. This is a great question. So there's a whole different system for foiling called hot foiling, where you use things that look like dies, but they're actually plates. They don't cut. They just kind of press a design in. And they're used with a die cutting machine. You need to buy a hot foil plate. You have to heat up the foil and the plate and the cardstock, and then you run it through your die cutting machine, and it leaves a foiled impression. It's like hot stamping, really, like the old-fashioned hot stamping that they used to do. So that's a very different kind of foiling, and that foil will not work with this machine, and our foil will not work with that machine. What their foil, the hot foil, will do is it'll just cover any cardstock. So if you put it through your fuse and you used a Poly-Glaze sheet, it's going to just cover the whole thing solid because it's meant to just adhere with heat, and it doesn't have anything else. It's whatever you put on top of it that makes it press. When you buy your foil, make sure you know that you are buying either deco-foil, and it's a textile style foil. Give me 1 second. I'm going to slip off the screen here, and I am going to grab a tube of it to show you what it looks like. So you want something that looks like this here. This is the deco-foil. It's in this tube with this black cap on top. You want either this, or you want Gina K Designs fancy foils that look like this, okay? And it talks about it like on the back. So like my best advice would be like if you're going to look at foils and you're on a big box website or you're in your local store, ask them which foils work with a laminator or read the descriptions to make sure they aren't hot foiling plate foil, okay? But yeah, they're not interchangeable, and unfortunately you can't feel the difference. That's kind of the sad part, is that, I mean, maybe some people can. I can't really feel the difference. And there are some laminator foils that are super thin, and they feel kind of like hot foils to me, and they're not. So, all right, here's another design I want to show you. This is an Easter design that we have, and I foiled that with turquoise sea. And then I want to show you this one. So this is our berries and vines. And wait till you see this. I foiled this with our silver sequins. Can you see the sequin pattern in there? Isn't that fun? All the little circles that are in there. That is very fun. Okay. Then this is, let's see. Is this the design that comes in? You know, I don't even know. You'll have to look. I don't want to say the wrong thing. This might be the other design. I think, is there 3 or 4? Sammy, if you're watching, if you could tell me exactly what the patterns are that come inside. I believe this is one of them. Isn't that pretty? That is done with our brilliant blue. That's a glitter foil.
Do you know what foil comes with the machine?
The foils that come with the machine is a pack of the Wild Lilac and Amazing Amethyst. This is like a starter pack of these 2 colors. You get a full pack of, you get 14 karat that's mixed with sterling. So it's like a combination pack of 14 karat and sterling, and then a combination of Wild Lilac and Amazing Amethyst. So you get a lot of foil, and you get a lot of, oh, Kathy Z is here. Kathy, if you're watching, can you tell me what the names of the foils were that came, not foils, the Poly-Glaze that came in your fuse? If you can remember that, or you can look on the website and let me know in the comments, because I can't get on the website right now. Okay, so that's a bunch of designs. Now I want to show you something else that we have, and these are called stencil mates. So this design was foiled with our silver sequins, but you don't see the circles because it's such a delicate design. And this is our star stencil, and this is the Poly-Glaze that coordinates with it. So we have Poly-Glaze that coordinates with some of our stencils, and I might use one of those today in my, okay, I see somebody, 3 packs, birthday cheer, happy swirls, crystals, and gems. Okay, perfect. So forget this one. This one was not in it. This is a separate one. This is a celebration one. I think we came out with this during 4th of July. So you get this one, the swirls, and then you get this one, the crystals and gems, which I love. This is one of my favorites. And you get this one, which is the happy birthday words. This is the birthday cheer. Okay, because these were all designed to coordinate with my birthday. So all the purples and pretty things. Now remember when I told you how you can do the negative on either toner sheets or white Poly-Glaze sheets? Okay, let me show you a design that I did. Here's our, this is our coneflower design. Isn't that pretty? And that is done with silver sequins. Now I did another one like that. Let me see if I can find it. I decided to do one with the Wild Lilac. Ugh, isn't that gorgeous? Now, after I peeled this off, I put what I peeled off on top of some of the white Poly-Glaze, and then I sent that through the laminator, and I ended up with the opposite. See that? So that is the opposite. And we will do that tonight, but I just want to show you, out of one piece of foil and one Poly-Glaze sheet, or one Poly-Glaze designer sheet, and then one small piece of Poly-Glaze, you get 2 of these. So you get 2 cards from one piece of foil. Okay, now I want to just show you a couple more, and then we'll get started so you can see the process. This is one of my favorites. It's called Flurries. It's actually not snowflakes, but rather little stars. little stars and little dots. And this is one of my favorites because you can use it any time of the year for any kind of card you want. It's just a lovely little delicate background. And then this was one that we released for Valentine's Day. This is Hugs and Kisses. And this is done with the Radiant Red foil. So that is Radiant Red. That's a glitter foil. It's so pretty. All right, now it's time to actually get to making something, and that's what I'm going to do next. So I think what I'm going to do, thank you guys for all your help, because I really should have had that better prepared. It's been a while, and you know, I haven't had a chance to review everything because I've been too busy making things. Check this one out too. These are how our toner sheets foil. This is the Life is Better with You from the Be My Valentine, and look at that. That is our brilliant blue. It's so sparkly, so pretty. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a birthday card for me. And I am gonna start with a piece of Poly-Glaze here. And I think the one that I wanna use, let's find one here. I really love those cone flowers. I feel like that's my favorite flower, so let me just get one of those. So here's what they look like before they're foiled. They look kind of gray. We tinted them gray so that you're able to see them, because if we just did clear Poly-Glaze on here, you wouldn't be able to see which design was what. So this is what I'm going to do, and I am going to use some amethyst foil because I am going to make my card in purple, which is my birthstone. So where did I put the foil? I have it here. Give me a sec. Oh my gosh, I didn't even start making anything yet and I already lost the foil. Where did I put the foil? Okay. Well, maybe I have some somewhere else. Tom, do you see it anywhere over here? Usually if I get Tom to get out of his chair to find it, he finds it in a second. Just let me look on the floor. It's not there. This is a very unprepared live. Okay, I can't find it, so... Oh, I found it. See? I knew if I got Tom out of the chair, he just came over. Here it is. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is how I cut my foil. So this is really helpful if you want to organize all of your foils. I like to use a cutting mat. This is just a basic cutting mat from, I got this at one of the big box sewing stores. But if you've got any kind of self-healing mat, you can use that. Then I need to find this. So I like to use a rotary cutter, and I like to use a straight edge ruler like this. So if you're a quilter or you're a seamstress, you might have something like this in your stamp room. You don't have to have one this big. They sell them pretty small. All you need is something that's about this size. And then what I like to do, and I will give you one word of advice when you open your pack of foil, by all means, get a pair of scissors and cut this sticky edge off before you even start. That is going to save you, because when you pull foil out of here, I don't care how gentle you are and how careful, it always sticks to that sticky tab that was sealing up that bag. All right. Then I take my foil out of the package. This has two colors. So I take my foil out of the package, and then I grab all the foils together and I place them at right along the side of a 1-inch mark. And that could be anywhere. It could be at the 5-inch mark, wherever. Just pick an inch that you like, okay? And make sure that it's lined up nice and straight. Then what I do is I count 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I put my straight edge right along that 4-inch mark. See, it's straight there and it's straight up there. And then I take my rotary cutter and I put lots of pressure here, and then I cut that right down the center. Now I like to do it this way because this is the perfect size for a Poly-Glaze sheet. I have 2 of them here, but it's the perfect size for a Poly-Glaze sheet. It'll cover up the design. It's the perfect size for card fronts. I always use a panel on the front of my card, so it's the perfect size for card fronts, and it helps me store my foil really nicely. So I'm going to put these here. I'm just going to separate them out. I have my Wild Lilac, which is the lighter purple. That's our original lilac color. And then this is the new Amazing Amethyst, and it's so pretty. So I'm just putting them, I'm just dividing them up. And then you could put these in separate pockets if you want, or you can put them in the same pocket. I'm just going to keep them together since that's the way they came. I'm going to just straighten them out. And it's really helpful if you don't have dents in your foil, because dents seem to kind of mess up the process a little bit, or they can if it's really crinkly. Then I place this back in this little pouch, and that is when I use one of these stamp pockets. Now, I will use a laminator. I just pulled, this was just my gold. I pulled that off. But I will use one of these stamp pockets and I will slip this in here, and that's how I store my foil. So now my foils are ready to just grab and go. I don't have to cut it every time. I can cut smaller pieces from here, and sometimes I keep those in the back, but it's very organized. And then I usually use my label maker, and I just put the name of the foils up top, so when I'm flipping through my little box of stuff, I keep all my stuff like in a little container like this. When I flip through, I can just say, okay, here's gold sequins, here's grass green, here's jelly bean green. I do my foil, my Poly-Glaze sheets in the medium pockets, and I have everything organized in one little container. So that's how I organize my foil. Now, if you have this size, you'll get 3 sheets out of this instead of 2. You're going to cut it 4 inches, then you're going to cut it 4 more inches, and then you're going to have the last one that's 4 inches, because these sheets are 6 by 12. These sheets are 6 by 8. But normally, I don't know which is a better deal, because you normally get in a single color, this is a starter pack, but you normally get 12 sheets of 6 by 8, and in here you get 5 sheets of 6 by 12. I've never done the math. I don't really care. I just have to have all the colors. But if you are doing a project, you're going to be able to do the math and figure out how many you need for your things. Okay, now I have turned this on and it's been heating up a little bit. It's not necessary. Once the light turns green, it's ready to go. Now, if you want to do any of this foiling and you don't have a fuse or you don't have a mink, you just have a regular laminator, you can do all of this with a regular household laminator. The results will vary based on the laminator, but one thing I will tell you that is the most important is to let that laminator heat up for a good 20 to 30 minutes before you start. With the fuse and the mink, it's almost an instant warm-up. When the light turns green, it's ready to go. But if you're using a regular laminator, some of you don't get good results because you just don't let it heat up long enough. You think once the light turns green, it's ready. And the light turns green in about 3 minutes and it's nowhere near ready. Okay, so now we're going to make this into a purple design. But I think I should show you before that how cool this is if you want to do kind of a resist. So let me pick a different pattern for that. I'm going to pick... I think I'm going to pick this one. Oh, this is what the Poly-Glaze looks like. It comes in these kinds of packages. And you get 10 sheets in here of a design. So you have enough to make 10 cards if you use the whole design for a card. This is called the Petite Flourish. It's a pattern that we love at Gina K Designs. We have it in a background stamp, we have it in an embossing folder, and we have it in Poly-Glaze. It's such a useful one. But I want to show you how pretty it looks when you... ink over it and create an emboss resist type of look. So I'm going to use some blue denim. It's such a pretty color, and the darker the better because it really shows it off nicely. You got to get your fuse out of the box. What do you mean it's still in the box, Barbara? Let's go. You're missing out on the fun. All right, so if you want to foil 2 panels in a row, do you need to let the fuse heat back up? Not really. Usually by the time it cools and then you peel, the fuse will be all heated up again and ready to go. It stays hot pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to ink this brush up with some blue denim, and then I am going to start ink blending over this. Now, can you see the design is staying white? That's because Poly-Glaze is very similar to embossing powder that, you know, when you melt it and it gets liquidy, it has a very similar property, so it's going to resist the ink. Let's get a paper towel. And then all you have to do is take a paper towel and rub over the surface. See how it's getting nice and white because the ink is just laying on top there. So that is a really fun way to use these without even doing any foiling. It's just another way to make use of these. And I love that about our Poly-Glaze. Okay, I just had to show you that because nothing's like seeing it in person. Now, let me put this away. Now it's time to do some foiling. So, I'm going to use this coneflower one. I love this one so much. And I'm going to use some of the amethyst foil. So let's get amethyst foil out of here. This is the Amazing Amethyst. That's the darker one. Okay. Now it is very thin, but you want to make sure that you only have one sheet because it's so thin, sometimes you think you only have one, but you actually have two. If you run two by mistake, don't worry about it. You can still use the one that wasn't on top. It'll still work, but sometimes they crinkle a little bit and then you might have, you know, not perfect results. Now I always take a Swiffer duster and I dust all over the surface of the Poly-Glaze to remove any dust. Then I dust all over the back side of the foil. And then I lay that foil on top, and you just want to make sure, it doesn't matter that it goes all the way to the edge. It just has to cover the whole design. If there's any part of the design hanging out, it's going to melt, and it's going to melt onto your carrier sheet. That's not the end of the world. People have used alcohol and have gotten it off. Somebody told me they used a little bit of acetone, but I haven't tried that yet because I used to be in the nail industry and acetone always melted plastic, so I was a little afraid of that. But people have said that they've done it. What I would suggest is don't do anything. Just don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt your project. But it's nice to not have it on there, so just make sure that all of your Poly-Glaze is covered. Now I'm going to slip this inside the carrier sheet. And ladies and gentlemen, when you get your fuse, this carrier sheet is just wrapped around things in there, like your manual and your little extras. So please be careful not to throw it away. We have had people say, I didn't get a carrier sheet, and we know that's not true, and I'll tell you why. Let's go to the front shot. Every single fuse that comes into our warehouse that came off that container, the box is opened, it's inspected, we make sure that there's a manual, a carrier sheet, and all of the goodies, and then we put the gift pack inside. So we check them all. We know that not one machine will go out of here without a carrier sheet. So if you don't have your carrier sheet, you threw it out. It looks like a piece of plastic. It looks like a plastic bag. You might have thought that it was just the plastic bag that was holding your manual and your other little bits and pieces. So go to the trash. It's in there. Don't throw your carrier sheet away. If you do throw your carrier sheet away, we sell extra carrier sheets. They come in a little 2-pack that looks like this. Here it is. It's got 2 carrier sheets in here, and, you know, I highly recommend that you get extra carrier sheets because you never know. You could wrinkle a carrier sheet. But ThermoWeb also sells carrier sheets, and their carrier sheets are different. They look like parchment on the outside, and they're silicone lined, and they work beautifully too. Now, when you feed this in, you always want to make sure that the folded side goes into the laminator, into the fuse, into the mink, whatever you're using. Folded side goes in first. If you go in this way, you've got a lot of flaps here, and what's going to happen is they're going to catch on the roller, they're going to crinkle all up, they're going to jam up your machine, and that's not a good thing. You don't want to jam your machine. So you want to go in folded side first, and you're just going to let the fuse grab your project, and then you can let go, and it will go through on its own. Now, as that's going through, what's happening is all of that polyglaze is melting from the heat of the rollers inside. And the foil is adhering to that melted polyglaze, and as it comes out the other side, it's already starting to cool. Now, it's not completely cool, but it's starting to cool. And once it comes out, it's cool enough that you can touch it, but you don't necessarily want to peel immediately. I do sometimes dust the inside of my carrier sheet. Sometimes I do, because they get dusty too. Okay, the fuse has 2 rollers. I learned a lot. They sent me the specs initially for the machine. They sent me the specs for the big mink, and that's what we had originally put in our manual. The new manual has been corrected. And I got all upset when somebody said, no, I think the smaller machines only have 2 rollers. I got all upset because I thought that was going to affect the way the machine worked. What I found out is it doesn't affect the way the machine works at all. Somehow, what the guy told me, now again, I don't take machines apart. I don't build machines. I don't know. But what he told me is that the 4 rollers are situated in a way to make it a 12-inch machine. You only need 2 rollers for a 6-inch machine. I didn't know. There are 2 rollers in this machine. Okay, now we're going to peel and reveal. So that gave it a chance to cool. And you can see sometimes your foil will wrinkle, and that doesn't mean it's bad or anything. Sometimes you'll get really wrinkly foil, and what might prevent the rest of the sheets from wrinkling in the future is you never know how this foil is cut. There's actually a grain to foil, so sometimes it's cut this way and sometimes it's cut this way. If you look really closely, you can see the grain on certain colors, but not every color. So if you're getting bad wrinkles and you're putting it in your carrier sheet this way and sending it through, the next one you do, try turning it this way and sending it through, and the wrinkles might go away. So again, there's gonna be casualties. Every single thing isn't always gonna foil perfectly, but not every piece of cardstock ink blends perfectly. Not every stamp image that you stamp is perfect. So you have to expect a little bit of now and then, you know, it not being perfect. But here we go, we're gonna peel that off, and look at that beautiful design. Perfectly foiled. Nothing is wrong with that, it's beautiful. Now, I'm going to take this negative piece. This is the piece that I was talking about. What's left over? It's a shame to waste something that beautiful, right? You don't want to throw that in the trash. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a piece of the white Poly-Glaze sheets, and you can cut these down. You've got 5 sheets in here that are 8.5 by 5.5 inches, which once again gives you 10 full card fronts. But I'm not going to use all of it. I'm going to cut it down smaller than that. So I'm going to get 1 Poly-Glaze sheet. And if you're having trouble, see when I turn this, you don't get much of a sheen, but when you turn this, you get that sheen. You see that sheen in there? That's the side you want to foil on. And you want to be really careful with this, that you're on the right side, because again, if you have it in upside down, this whole thing is going to melt onto your carrier sheet. So just look for the sheen. See all that sheen? On this side, no sheen. Okay? And then what I like to do is I like to cut my Poly-Glaze sheet just a little bit smaller than the design. So I'm going kind of close there. Now you can cut this with a paper cutter if you want it perfect, but I might like do something like this and then cut it up into small pieces and die cut it and things like that. So again, is this the sheen side? Yes. Is this? No. So here's the sheen side. Now, we always have to use that dust cloth, so we're going to dust the surface of the Poly-Glaze, and then we're going to dust this one more time as well, and then we're going to lay those together like that, okay? And now, that whole panel is going to go back into the carrier sheet, and we're going to send that in with the fold going in first into the fuse. So this is a good video for you to bookmark. You have to get through all my talking in the beginning, but this is a really good video if you want to do this along with me the first time you try this, when you get your fuse. Is the reverse button a jam release? Yes, it helps get the cardstock or the Poly-Glaze, whatever is in there. The reverse will help you go in the opposite direction and unjam your machine.
Now I've sheen everything.
Lots of sheen going on here. Okay, so now you can see that's nice and flat on there. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, I love that. I almost want to just leave it like that and cut it, but we are going to peel this away so that you can see a perfectly clear window how all of the Poly-Glaze grabbed this design and there's no foil left here. Okay, so here we go. We're going to peel it away. See, you've got a clear sheet right here, nothing left on it, and now you've got that beautiful design that's all foiled. Okay, so now you've got the positive and the negative. Isn't that pretty? So I love those. Now I think I am going to do one of, let's see, I think I'll do one of these little flurries, because this is going to be a birthday card and I want to do kind of a fun design in the back behind the whole thing. So I'm going to use the lighter purple. There's no way I lost my foil again. No, I didn't. Okay, I'm going to use the lighter purple for the back, which is the Wild Lilac. These colors coordinate really nicely together. And you may notice that some of the foils that I read off to you, like Jelly Bean Green and Red Velvet and Grass Green, Wild Dandelion, including the Wild Lilac, are colors that match our ink colors too. So that's another really cool thing about this system. What presents go with the machine at this time? So you get 3 packs of Poly-Glaze. So you've got 30 sheets of Poly-Glaze. You've got 2 packs of foil. 1 pack of foil is the 14 karat and sterling, and the other pack of foil is the Wild Lilac and Amazing Amethyst. So you can, right out of the box, you're going to be able to start foiling. You're going to have words, you're going to have patterns, and you're going to have beautiful foils. So you saw me do the same thing. I'm going to send this through, fold side in first. I love that everybody joins in on your words, Tom. It's always so fun. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to look for my words. I think I might do some words in a darker. I might do some amethyst words here. So we do have words that coordinate with our dies. We have thanks. We also have grateful. And thanks goes with our thanks and shadow die. Grateful goes with our grateful and shadow die. And you can foil these words and then cut them out with the shadows, which is really nice. And you can see they foil so beautifully. Nice solid foil. And then I am going to find another one of the birthday words, if I can find one here. Okay. Alrighty, I'm going to take this out and let this sit for a minute and cool. And now I'm going to do the birthday words with the darker foil, the amethyst. So I've got Wild Lilac here, and then I've got amethyst. Let's see what we can come up with. And then I am going to foil something else. So I'm going to foil a toner sheet because I am going to do some die cutting. Now people often ask me, Gina, do you die cut first and then foil, or do you foil first and then die cut? And that really depends. If, for example, I am going to foil one of these, I will die cut it first with a circle, square, or rectangle die, and then I'll foil it. But if I am going to be using a die cut like this, which is what I want to use today, this bow, I'm going to foil first and then die cut. Now why? What's the difference? Well, when I die cut these words, I'm not putting any pressure into the black areas at all. I would cut this out with a big circle, right? So there's no pressure. All the pressure is going to be around the edge of the die. So nothing in here is going to wrinkle or get compressed. But if I cut this out first, all around the perimeter and even on the inside here, there's going to be areas where the die creates little divots in the toner sheet. And toner is not able to get down into divots. It has to go onto something completely flat. So the way I like to think about it is, if I'm cutting out something that has a big border, I can cut it out first. But if I am using solid foil and toner, then I'm going to foil first and cut second. Okay, so now let's look at this one here. Oh, that's so pretty. Look at how pretty that is. It's so delicate. Just a great background, right?
Couple quick questions.
Yes.
Can the inked polyglaze be foiled?
Yes, it can. You can, I kind of like the idea of foiling first and then adding some ink, but I have seen people ink first and then add some foil. I would test it to see how it works with whatever ink you're using and the humidity in your home and all of those things. Just cut a small piece and give it a try. Remember, anything that comes between the polyglaze and the foil could prevent the foil from sticking. So you got to really make sure that you completely wipe down everything first before you actually foil. So I like to foil first in that case. All right, now this would be quite a busy design against the white, but I think it would look really pretty too. You could see the white stars in there. Wouldn't that be neat? So I'm going to save that background for another card for another day. And then here are my words. So I've got my happy birthday. I put my glasses back on. Happy birthday, birthday cheer, birthday wishes. So I'm going to pick one of those. I'm going to use one of these. And then I think I'm going to use one of these, just because I like these kinds of flowers. Now, I don't know how much of this is going to work. We will see. As far as my design, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be able to use. But I wanted to have it ready just in case. Now I'm going to go back and get a piece of toner paper. Now I don't need a lot because I just want to do a bow, and I want to do I just want to do a bow, because what I want to do is I want to stack a couple of things together and create the look of two presents on top of each other and then put a bow on top. So I don't need much toner paper. In fact, I only need a tiny little bit. It only has to be like that much because I want to cut out this die. So I'm just going to cut a small piece of toner paper here because I don't need to waste it. I'll just cut that just to make sure I have enough. And then I'll save this. It can be words, anything can be cut out from that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this. And then I think I'm going to make my bow on top silver. What do you think? Should I make it silver? I think that would be really pretty. I probably should have made my background silver too. But I think this is pretty. Or should I do this same color? Because my present and my words are going to be in these patterns. I could go with the lighter. Why don't I go with the lighter? I'll go with the lighter. I won't do silver. So I'm going to get another piece. And I wish you could see this because I'm looking at this at an angle and I see dust already on my foil. Dust is a culprit when you're foiling, so always make sure you have some kind of dusting cloth. Let's just dust the inside of this as well, as my friend suggested in the comments. Okay, now we're going to get another piece of that lighter color. We're going to cut that out. I don't need a whole sheet, but I do need it to cover the entire piece of toner because remember, if I don't, that toner is going to get liquefied and it's going to stick to my carrier sheet. So I have to be careful to always make my foil a little bigger than whatever I'm working on. I'm going to dust the back of that. And I'm going to dust my toner sheet. And then I will place that on top. And I will stick that into my carrier sheet and I'll send it through. Now what we're doing here is we're just making a solid piece of foiled paper, foiled cardstock. Okay. Yes, oil from lotion and stuff can prevent it from adhering. So if I put lotion on my hands and then I took a little bit of hand sanitizer on my palms just to absorb up any of the oil. So the back of my hands is nice and soft, but the front of my palms where I'm actually touching, I used a little alcohol sanitizer. Okay. So now this has come out, and I think I'm going to be able to shut this machine off now. I can always turn it back on if we have time to do anything else, but we're already close to an hour here. Now I'm going to do a little bit of die cutting, so I'm going to get my Intracut die cutting machine. I'm going to push some things back here. Sorry for my head and body getting in the way. Okay. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut my bow out. I'll do that first because I feel like I already lost the die. No, I put it back on here. And so we're going to peel this off. And you see now we've got, see all that foil is gone? No foil left on there. Solid, beautiful lavender wild lilac foil. This I'm going to throw away. There's not much I can do with this. You might be creative and find a way to make a shaker card out of it. I'm not that creative or patient. So I'm going to now lay this onto my cutting mat and I'm going to put this die on top, blade side down. I'm actually going to do it down here because I can get 2 of these bows and I could actually make a second card out of this. And now I'm going to send this through the die cutting machine and I'm going to cut out that bow. And I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you all so much for being here. The Intracut, we don't have a time frame on that yet. One of the reasons why these machines are taking so long to get back in stock is all the tragedy and horrible stuff that's going on right now in the Red Sea. Normally they take that path. They can't take it right now. It's too dangerous. They have to go all the way down around the bottom of Africa instead. And it's taking many, many, many more weeks for them to get here. So you can see now I've got that beautiful foiled bow. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so now I want to create a fun little present kind of thing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, I wonder if this is enough room. I think it is. I'm going to use this die right here to cut out the first one. Okay. I think this is what I want to do. Maybe I want to do 2. Would they fit? Ooh, I think they might fit. Okay. I'll use the bigger one here. And then I'm going to lay it out just to see what it's going to look like. And then if I put this one here and I put the bow on top, that would be kind of cute, right? Can you guys see that? Like a stack of presents. Maybe I'll get another bow for this one. We'll see. So let's just see how it looks. It might look very cute. So I'm going to cut this one out. I'll cut down here. So I know that's a little low for the camera, but you guys get the idea. So this will be my first one. Cut this one out. I mean, it's going to sparkle, so that's all that really matters, right? So now I've cut that out, and it does have that cute little stitching around the outside. And then I'm going to cut the single stitched one in black. It's the same die. We have the double stitched and the single stitched, and I have black. I mean, I have all the different shapes in both double stitched and single stitched, and they create that cute little shadow layer. So I'm going to do that with this. I just have a piece of black cardstock. We sell the black toner paper. It's by ThermoWeb, and you can get it on our website, or you can get it on ThermoWeb's website, or anywhere that you buy your craft supplies. Almost all the big stores and the big brick and mortar stores carry ThermoWeb's products. Okay, so that's gonna go like that. I think that looks good. And then we're going to cut one of these with the smaller one. So we could do birthday wishes, we could do birthday cheer. Let's just be more traditional and just do happy birthday. I'm not really making this card for myself, but it would be nice to get one like this. And I do want to say thank you guys all for sending me those gorgeous cards that you all sent. So many cards, and they're still coming in. I can't even believe it. You guys are so nice. Okay, so now I'm gonna send this through. Yes, the intracut will be back. It will be back. I know it shipped, but again, they've got to go so far out of their way that they didn't have to go before. It's really, I guess it's very scary because there's like pirates down in that part of Africa that they have to go around, and whew. So that's the other thing. They have to wait for big ships. They can't, there's like different size ships, I think, that they use, and they got to wait for really big ones to go around there. I mean, they're all big, but I don't know all the details. I talk to my freight guy about it all the time, and he tries to fill me in and tell me what's going on, but it all sounds very scary. Okay. So this one is going to coordinate with this. And I'm wondering if we should add a third one in here. But no, I think two will be good. It'll almost look like a layer cake. And then when we get that little bow on top, I think it'll be super cute. That's going to work just perfect. It'll be like a double-decker present. Okay. So now why don't we put this together? One of the things that no, I'm going to cut it by hand. One of the things that I really love about foiled cards is they don't really seem to need a lot of embellishments afterwards, because you've got so much sparkle and shine that like a sequin kind of gets lost in the whole mix, right? Okay, so this I'm going to see. First, let's tape all these parts together. Okay. Yeah, it's scary and it's also difficult. And then we've got Chinese New Year, so a lot of the factories are on their New Year break. But luckily, we work with like really good factories, and they were so good about like letting me know, hey, you have to place your order by this date in order for us to be able to get your order out before we leave for our break. So they're really great, really nice people. I could have put that back. I could have put that together better. Okay. And so that would just kind of sit on there like that, like a double present. And that will go on top. That's cute. I really like that. I think it's really cute. Okay, now this we're going to cut down just a little bit. I'm going to cut it to, let's see if this is going to work, if it's 3 3/4. I think it'll work. All right, we're going to cut 1/4 of an inch off of each side here to make it 3 3/4 by 5. So 1/4 of an inch off the top and off the bottom. You could also cut this with Master Layouts 1 and it would work. But that just cuts that border off of the Poly-Glaze, so you've got Poly-Glaze top to bottom. And now I am going to need a black panel. This might be the right size, and I believe it is. It's going to look nice. So we will put that together. And I know this is a tiny bow for these big presents, but you know, it's cartoon logic. It doesn't have to be perfectly sized. And then we could put this gift here, and the greeting is the second gift, so we don't really need a greeting spot. And then we can pop this bow right on the top like that, and then we can put the whole thing onto a card base. Well, let's get a card base. I think let's take a look at Lovely Lavender. That might be pretty to play off of this, the lavender in the background and the lavender in the top. I think that would be kind of pretty. Let's do it. You could also, you know, you could turn this way, and then you could put this one in front, and this could have a bow, and that could have a bow. Should we do that? Kind of like that layout a little better, actually. Let's cut one more bow real quick, and we'll see how it looks. I know I didn't throw that piece away, and there was a reason I saved space for it. So we could look at both both styles here. And I know it's only 2 elements instead of 3, but sometimes you gotta break the rules. I like the second layout better too. And I think getting an extra bow in there is gonna be really fun. So let's do it. Pop that bow in that empty space. Hope it doesn't shift. I should have taped it down with some masking magic. So anything can happen here. Okay, it worked. Woo! So now we have the second bow. And the bows coordinate with the background. And I think I like this layout better. Now, if I were to do it over again, I would cut this pattern in this up and down orientation, because now my flowers are kind of going off to the side, but that's all right. I have had wrapping paper, and I've wrapped with the wrapping paper, and it's just been all over the place, but I kind of think this is very cute. Very, very cute. Maybe we can add a little of this cardstock into here. Let's try this. So we're gonna cut, I'm gonna just cut a half sheet since I don't want to drag my big paper cutter up here. And we'll just do a side fold card. Just a side fold, 4 1/4. Now I could do more toner paper and cut this next part with toner paper. Should I do it? Do we have time, Tom? We have a couple minutes, right?
We do.
Okay. I think I'm going to do my little idea here. So let's get this onto the card base first. And I got to tell you guys, if you love Poly-Glaze, get this pattern, the flurries. It works with everything. Okay, we're going to do one more foiled piece of toner here. Okay, it's going to work the cardstock in, but I think the toner will be even prettier. So I need a piece of toner paper, and I'm going to need a piece that's about like that. Okay, put that back, and then I've got some leftover foil here that's going to work perfect. I'm just going to cut that out right here. I never throw foil away because it's amazing how the smallest little square of foil will make the most darling little button embellishment or something. You can never, you'll always find a use for it. Okay. Now I am going to clean this, and I'm going to clean this with the Swiffer and the back of this with the Swiffer. Put this on top. And I'm just going to put it right in here like this. And it says it's ready. So let's hope for the best.
All right.
Oh, you could definitely do it for your son in blue.
How about a quick word of the day while that's going through?
Yes, we would love a word of the day, Tom.
Okay, so every family seems to have an uncle who's very fond of the fruit salad.
Or an aunt.
Or an aunt, but in this case, the word of the day is about the uncle who's fond of fruit salad, and that would be the drunkle. The drunkle.
The drunkle.
Drunkle Bob.
Drunkle Bob, how have you been?
Word of the day.
That's pretty funny, Tom. Very good. I like that one. The drunkle. Oh, man. So, I definitely need some more foam squares. I'm out of big ones, but I have small ones, so we'll just use a couple of extras here. So now I'm going to peel this off. There, now we've got a nice shiny piece of cardstock. See that? All that gone. You can really see it better on white. See that? Every little bit of foil is gone. We all have one. That's true. One drunkle. We all have one. He's the fun uncle, though. Okay, so now I'm going to measure this. Let's see how big this is. So this measures 3 1/4 inches. So I need to get this piece down to 3 1/4 inches. And then I'm going to trim it on the sides here. Try to get it straight. I know this is kind of crazy, but then I'm going to cut it over here, just a tiny little strip. Let's try it this way. Just going to cut a little strip, making sure it's straight. It's pretty straight. Okay, this is what I was going for. I might try to do one more. This would be much easier if it was a little bigger, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. So I'm just cutting a thin little strips right there. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to decorate this. So I'm going to put this here, and then I'm just going to trim it off the top to give it that little part right there. So we'll go down here in the center. And then I'll just trim that right there. I didn't measure that right, so that's fine. Because there's going to be a bow, I'm not worried about the top. And then here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go across this way. I could use my cross die, which I've done before for this kind of thing. And the cross die is amazing because inside there's a part that falls out of that cross die that is perfect for this technique. But I just wanted to have that little bit of that in there. And then this will go right on top. And I feel like that like finishes it off more, you know? I love that. Okay, let's start assembling this now. I could have done a better cut right here, but do I dare? Do I dare? Sure, why not? Why not? Let's just make it perfect. There we go. Or better than horrible. Now we're going to put this one here So we will pop this one up. We'll use a few little foam squares. And put this right here. Let's get it nice and straight. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, make it a little easier to see. Okay, so we're going to put this one here, nice even on both sides, top and side. See that? That kind of nice even in there. And now we're going to do the same thing for here. We'll come down a little bit and we'll go even right in there. Okay, now all we're going to do is put some foam squares on these sides. To make sure that that is going to work. I'm going to move this one. Don't like where it is. Okay, so I only need those two, and I can overlap that a little bit right there, and I can tape that down onto this. So that's what I'm going to do. The foam squares are just getting it up to the same height. And it's just going a little bit down in front. And then we can probably use a foam square here, or we can tape it right on. We could tape, let's tape it right on. Get some tape on there. I'll just come down into that a little bit. And then we'll tape one right on here. Right down into that. And there is a quick and easy little happy birthday card. Lots of sparkle and shine and the two different colors of purple. And that's so fun. And if you wanted, you could leave like this foam square off and you could slip some money in there, or you could add a gift card in there and put a bow on the gift card. So you could have a little gift card in the front and then write whatever you want on the inside. All right, everybody. Well, this was so much fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got lots of good tips and tricks for getting better foiling and using Poly-Glaze and toner sheets and using those negative pieces up. The fuse is available. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I will tell you that over the next couple of days, it's going to tons of retailers in the United States and Canada. So if you go on our website and it's sold out, you know, give it a couple days and check with like scrapbook.com. Right now you can get it at Simon Says Stamp. You can get it at Brutus Monroe. You're going to be able to get it at ThermoWeb. You're going to be able to get it at Scrapmania. She's one of my biggest brick and mortar stores in the U.S. And then our Canadian retailers are going to have them as well, which is going to help a lot for the taxes and all those types of things. And then coming in March, early March, right around March 4th, our international customers should have the international versions of the fuse. So we're excited about that as well. Well, everybody, I think, Tom, can we give away a gift card tonight?
I don't see why not.
All right, let's give away a gift card. I think
Wow.
I'm going to raise this up a little bit. I think I want my presents to be higher up on the card. So, it's not bad, though.
All right, we're doing a cheesy drum roll then.
Yes, let's do it.
There we go for a gift card.
$15 gift card to Gina K Designs.
Annette Lund. Annette Lund.
Congratulations, Annette. Send your name and address to info@ginakdesigns.com and we will send you a digital gift card by email. All right, everybody. Well, Tom and I will be back on Thursday with another Crafternoon Live. And then, like, who knows what we're going to do. A lot of you have been asking me to use Modern Floral one more time before our new release, and maybe I will do that, give you another lesson on that, and also how to use the die cuts with that, because that would be a lot of fun. And then next Tuesday night is our brand new release at Gina K Designs. We have a brand new kit debuting. We've got a new master layout set coming out and lots of fun Illustrator sets and dies and a few surprises. So we can't wait to see you on Thursday. In the meantime, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.